Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, the sadness continues, and the weather ain't doing anyone any good. I'll admit it to you, I've never been one to run from my problems. I am deeply affected by the weather. And I'll take Duval, because for the most part, you get probably 300 good days a year. But this week, and I do think it has something to do with the Jaguars losing. I really do. I'm really not psychotic, as far as you know, or really not into superstitions or conspiracies or any of that. But when the Jags lose a game the way they did, you aren't going to show up here this week and have it be 85 degrees, sun blaring, blazing. No, you were going to get cold and rain, and the sun is gone. I feel like I'm back in Chicago. For crying out loud. I say it all the time. There was actually a point in my life where I went 1 month without seeing the sun, and that is not radio embellishment. That's true. Well, you're getting it here, and you as a diehard Jaguar fan, I feel you. I can feel it right now. It's kind of like you earned it, and this is the way it's supposed to be. You know, misery loves company. It'll get better sooner or later. I don't hop on the Doppler. I just ask JJ. What's it going to be like? I know this, the last 3 rounds of golf I've scheduled, I've been rained out. Not a good start to the 2000, and what are we in now? 24? 2024. Getting ready for another lap around this great planet, and we begin 2024 in a very awkward situation. Sounds a little bit like this. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are half pregnant. They really are. It's a dysfunctional franchise. It's a poorly run franchise. And I will give them credit for making changes. You had to do something. You can't be 8-3, then 9-8, and go into the offseason without changes. But are they the right changes? Are they the correct changes? The two guys right now, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere in our great city, and you can go to the burbs, and you can walk into a, let's see here. You can walk into the Lions Club. You can walk into a, help me out here. What are some of the other kind of, I even forget the names of them that are kind of like private clubs.
Like the VFW?
Yes, a VFW.
Or the Shriners.
Yes.
The Shriners were those little hats.
I used to have one in walking distance the first time I bought a house in the suburbs of Chicago, out towards Gurnee and the Wisconsin border, because the ex-wife needed a brand new house. Just the best of everything. She thought I was Trump, for crying out loud, with my bankroll. So, but anyway, they had a train right about a mile down the road, mile and a half down the road was a train station, which was phenomenal because it was very easy access to get into the city. And there's real traffic in Chicago. You don't have real traffic here in Jacksonville. What you have is a bunch of morons who don't know how to drive, okay? And especially a bunch of people who have no clue how to merge. This is the worst merge town I've ever been in. But you don't get a lot of traffic around here. Okay, I'm telling you. I grew up in Boston. I lived in Chicago. That's traffic. No traffic here. Again, you got a lot of morons out there that are driving. But if you were to go anywhere, any one of those type of places, any type of saloon, salon, maybe you want to get your nails done, maybe you want to get your toenails done, any of that stuff. Got a massage today, by the way. JJ. Middle of the day?
We're talking like a regular above-board massage.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I'm only going to tell you about my
Robert
underground.
Kraft massage.
I'm only going to tell you about my underground massages during the break. You don't think I'm going to come out on the air and do that, do you?
It is a Tuesday night. It's late.
And It's a 1-hour appointment. It was actually a gift certificate that was given to me by a friend. So I went in there today, and everything today is computerized. They throw this tablet at me, and there's like 75 questions and 17 signatures, and I got to hit this box. I'm hitting boxes like, are you pregnant? Okay. Is it all right if we touch your glutes? And by the way, I all of a sudden I keep failing the registration part of it. And finally I'm like, ma'am, can you fill this out any way you want? All I know is it's now 1:15. I've missed 15 minutes of my 1-hour massage because I can't figure out your registration. But anyway, that was good. That was fun. I was doing a lot of thinking, a lot of deep thought thinking today. And again, no matter where it is that you go, if you were to ask Jaguar fans, what's the biggest problem? They're going to tell you Trent Baalke. And then number 2, they're going to tell you it's Press Taylor. After that, number 3, anyone goes. It could be Trevor Lawrence. It could be Doug Peterson. And then somewhere after that, it becomes Mike Caldwell. And I'm not trying to get away from what happened there. Again, it had to happen. You had to make changes to this football team. But I started really analyzing everything, and my brain was really working, and I was thinking just how the disconnect remains between Shad Khan and his fan base. He's got a publicist, Mr. Woodcock, know him very well. He's got a lot of people that take him from point A to point B and point C and point D. And everywhere Shad goes, he makes money, and he makes more money. And he's got company after company, and he employs all these people. And he's a real generous human being, and he's an outstanding guy. But it's simple. This is all that you had to do. Let this thing blow out for a day or two. Then announce the firing of Trent Baalke. Let Doug Peterson announce the firing of any coaches on his staff. At that point, Shad Khan holds a press conference, and what he does is he apologizes to the great fans of Jacksonville. Thank you. Your outstanding effort this year, whether it was over in London, whether it was the games here at the bank, whether it was the most as far as fans consistently on the road at each and every place they played football games, the fan base is growing. Thank the fans and say, we expect more out of this team. You're doing your part. We will not accept being 8-3 and then losing the second half of the season and not make it to the playoffs. So here's what we're doing. We're rebuilding. I'm in search of right now a new general manager. Doug Peterson is in search of right now his coaching staff. We are going to provide a winner for you, the Jaguar fans. And we're going to build the new stadium. I can't tell you how many I've received as far as that's it. I'm done. I'm not going anymore. I'm not buying season tickets. I'm not supporting this team. You know there's going to be a point this year where they're going to come and ask you for money. They're going to begin this process for either a facelift or to completely build a new one. If you did it the right way. Again, it's simple common sense, and it's a complete lack of understanding who your audience is. To every single one of you right now who is so peeved, if you handled it that way and said, this is unacceptable, I'm making changes, we're getting better, we're going to get to a Super Bowl, but we need the homes. If you put that in order, 1, 2, and 3, my guess is the majority of you, overwhelmingly, would be like, you know what? First of all, you'd be totally shocked. Secondly, you'd be like, I think he gets it. I think he finally understands what is going on around here. Now, I'm not dumb enough to, okay, yeah, when you're in this particular position, you should listen to your fans. Fans are always of the knee-jerk reaction. Twitter during the game on Sunday was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had following that during a football game. Okay? And I made a comment with about 2 minutes to go that if Jacksonville was to come back and win that game, if they scored a touchdown, completed the 2-point conversion, went into overtime, and won, it would have been one of those deals where you looked at Twitter in-game, and I understand every game, college or pro around here, and for that part, for the most part, all across the football landscape, that's the way it is. But I am pretty in tune, or at least I have been the last couple of years since I'm no longer the Jaguars sideline reporter, as to what's being said in-game. It was filthy from the first quarter on. I can't remember it as being as bad as it was this past weekend. And I kind of joked that everyone's going to delete their earlier comments if the Jags come back and win the game. Obviously, that did not take place. And I'm not saying that as an owner of a team, that is where you should be looking or you should be listening to us. He's a brilliant man. He's a multi-billionaire. But he doesn't know what's going on with his fan base. And that would have been the right way to go through with it. Okay? And I'm not saying step up and announce that he's paying for it. I'm saying just simply, we're making changes. We're going to be more than competitive. Here comes a new GM. Peterson's bringing in the new coaches. And we're going to be in the hunt for a stadium. I think realistic fans would have looked at it that way and said, damn, this is impressive. Now look at it. There's a black cloud over this city, literally and figuratively speaking. And all of a sudden it's going to sneak into you one day, right? It's going to be April or it's going to be May. And I get it as well. Every week that goes by, every month that goes by, is you out there, they're going to be, we're going to be in the middle of May, and you're going to be, oh, my God, I can't wait. I just can't get through life anymore. It's only May. I got to go through May and June and July until we get to August. And once you get to August, the preseason games become a bore, and you need September, okay? That's always driven me crazy, but that's how a lot of you are in a one-horse town. So at one point, they're going to sneak that in, the conversations, the meetings. Let's deliberate. What do you want? What does this city need? How much money are you going to ask for? It's going to come. But it's going to come now in what I mark as really a lost year. Good luck going and asking the people now for money after what they just showed you on the field. Again, if you put a tiny bit of thought into it and made the changes that need to be made, then it would have been an easier process. But they did not. And that is why your Jacksonville Jaguars do remain half pregnant as we begin and head towards, I guess now what? We are deep into week 2 of the 2024 offseason. All right, so we got a lot to look at. Shots were fired by an anonymous coach. Josina, I think it was Josina Anderson with the report. Quote, the solutions are leaving, the problems are staying. So the defensive coaches with some shots or one defensive coach with a comment. I hate to even give it credence because it's an anonymous quote. I'd like to put a name to it, but I understand that whoever it was who said it is now in the process of looking for a new job. But obviously there was some division there. And frankly, I think that's a good thing. If people are leaving without saying something, then that's even that much more of a problem. I really am. And JJ and I talked about this yesterday. I was on my way to the press conference, and I had an issue, all right? And I just, if I knew they were going to be 30-plus minutes right, I would have gone with it, but I didn't. So I freaking pulled over. And anyway, I was peeved by it because I wanted to, I was able to see it on Jaguars.com, but I wanted to be there. I always like to be at the season-ending press conference. I don't think too many people thought that we would have it at 3 o'clock on a Monday. I thought most people thought it would be instead a last look at Tennessee and a quick preview of this weekend's playoff game against Cleveland. It was anything but. But Doug Peterson, I believed him. I think it was Mia who asked the question. But I believed him when he said, I need to decide on this when talking about the coaches. I don't think he had the poker face that apparently he showed at that moment. And then, 2 hours later, 3 hours later? Yeah, that was at 3:30, 3:40 when he said it. And we were on the air at 6:40, so that's 3 hours later, right when we heard that the defensive coaches or most of the defensive coaches were let go. It leads me to believe what happened from the time he stepped out of that press conference until the time that was announced. Unless he really is all about tomfoolery and just said what he said and who cares, let's move on, and he just pulled the trigger on it. I don't know. Did Shad Khan get to him? Did Shad Khan force something like this? I would love to say yes, but I don't know the answer, effectively to that question. It's always felt like Shad's been hands off, right? The really only hands-on thing I can think of that Shad's ever done, well, firing Gus Bradley in Houston was Bush League. All right, and I've spoken to Dave Caldwell about that and others about that. I mean, to fire him and then put him on the plane and to have Gus walk up and down and thank everyone, including myself, on the plane was really Bush League. And again, that's a reflection of this organization, right? As I've said from the beginning, it's a bad organization. It's an organization that has to get better. And it wasn't good then. It was a losing operation. It's not any better now, okay? Trent Baalke's not the guy to lead this football team. And why Shad Khan cannot understand that shocks me. The two most important things that you need in football, in my opinion, to win are a quarterback, and you need to be incredibly physical in the ditch. The Jaguars had the worst offensive line in the NFL, and their interior defensive line this year was awful. And that's being kind. They were awful. Devon Hamilton, awful. Big Foley, not nearly as good as a year ago. RRH was probably your best. You're asking guys like Lacey and Ledbetter to take snaps, Blackson to take snaps, Gotsis to give you some snaps. No. And that's a failure. And when you look at his drafts over the last couple of years and what he's done in the second and third round, and you see that those guys can barely get on the field, Chad Muma can't get on the field. It was a lost season for Brenton Strange. It was a lost season for Tank Bigsby. It was a lost season for Ventrell Miller. That's failure. That's abject failure. Okay? You needed help on the offensive line. You needed help on the defensive line. And he failed. There's no other way to say it. You failed. Yet, they're paying out all this money with all these fired coaches. And they could just simply fire one guy, the GM, and then rebuild this thing. So, that's where I am with it. It's better than it was because changes have been made. But still, this thing is going to linger the entire offseason because the two folks that people want out of here most are still employed. That's Trent Baalke and that is Press Taylor. And you don't react to what the fans want, but you also have to be open-minded enough to understand that it's not working. You've made drastic mistakes, and they haven't fixed it. So that was very concerning for this football team. And we're going to talk to you about it tonight exclusively. We're going to give you full opportunity to get on in time. We're going to grab calls at 641-1010. That is 641-1010. Also allow you to get in on the text line. Same number, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. I will tell you that opening comments tonight and every night are brought to you by Dr. Neil Shmunez and Shmunez Vision, family organization out at the beach. They focus on personal, high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Everything that you can possibly think of, from normal eye examinations to things that are far more serious. How about cataract surgery? First of all, you may not need cataract surgery. You may have just an issue that could be fixed with another remedy. It's amazing what they have and the quality of the practice that they have been about here for quite some time. Dr. Neil Shmunez performed surgery on my right eye 8.5 years ago. There's never been an issue. There's never been a setback. What I want you to do is look at him online, shmunezvision.com. That is shmunezvision.com. Everything right there is explained to you and your family, grandparents, all the way down to your grandkids. Absolutely, this is your one stop. So check them out today, shmunezvision.com. Care you can say. All right, let's let up these lines. Let's give you an opportunity. Come on. Come on, Jacksonville. I understand you're upset. The opportunity is for you right now. 641-1010 is the call line. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
This is Frank Frangie. Join Dan Hickett and me for All Things Gators, our podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Monday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gators Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay on millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their physicians. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
The Women's Board of Wilson Children's Hospital welcomes tech entrepreneur Steve Wozniak January 17th. For your chance to win tickets, text FORUM to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
The new year is the perfect time to make sure that your roof hasn't been damaged after storm season. Schedule a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get $250 off your new roof, plus flexible financing options. This offer expires January 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
You love free. And at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher, and we grind and make sausage in-house every day.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Here's a special message from our president.
Thanks, David. This is Jordan Harrington, president of Royal Pest Services. We'd like to thank everyone who has trusted Royal Pest for their pest control needs this year. Wishing all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Royal Pest family.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Prime Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, it's good to have you with us right here. It is a Tuesday edition. Tomorrow night, make that Thursday and Friday as well, back to our regularly scheduled program, 6 till 8. Going to give you the chance tonight to voice your opinion, whether it is a bad thing or a really bad thing. If it's a good thing, that'll be somewhat of a shock, but certainly you're allowed to make that opinion as well. Let's grab some phone calls. Let's kick it off by going to Leo, who goes into the night. Welcome.
Hey, Rick Ballou, Happy New Year.
You too.
And, thank you for taking my call. And I'm going to just say this. I'm not going to curse on your program, but the views I have and opinions I have is not a reflection of you or 1010XL. Okay, I appreciate you having me on. You are 100% spot on. Okay, I'm going to just take it a step further. And I know you didn't say this. This is my opinion. I put all this on Shad Khan, every bit of it. I wouldn't have fired none of the coaches. And what you said was spot on. But let me tell you something. I don't believe Shad Khan cares about this city. I don't believe he cares about the fans, I mean. He's not in tune with what we want. And it's not about what we want, okay? But you remember the games at home this year that they kept losing? And what do we say after the games? How do they have no energy? Why are they so lethargic? How you not enthused for this game? It's like they wanted to be anywhere but at that bank on Sundays. Like, we don't care about you fans. You know, that comes from the top to me. Because if you were the owner, I would have been down on the field saying, hey, let's make sure we win these games for the fans. But you don't see none of that. And I'm going to also tell you this. You can't build a football team if you always firing your coaches, firing your GMs, and giving people like Nick Foles $50 million. You got a clown down there in your organization. Like you said, it's a bad organization, stealing $20 million, right? Buying Teslas and condos and watches, but we can't bring no free agents in here. Every time I look up, it's we don't have no money. We don't have no salary cap. Nobody wants to play here. You know how many good players we've let walk out of this franchise? Since 2012, he's got the worst home record. Mike DiRocco put that out in 2017. Nothing's changed. He don't care about this year. All he's trying to do is make change. He's too focused on the city and trying to get a stadium and trying to get his hands on more money. And you already said he's a businessman. He's just trying to make more money. He don't care about his football team. Go down there and put some emphasis on your football team, man. Stop trying to sit here and squeeze us for more money and more money. Dude, I don't like him as an owner. I'm sorry. The other owner, Wayne Weaver, he liked this team because he was from this general area. This man don't care about us, dude. And it shows how his organization is run.
All right, Leo, got to go. You made your point. I don't think there's any question about it. Thanks for getting in. 641-1010. Leo opens up a line. Really, and I bet he feels better now. Because let me tell you something. Getting it out is an unbelievable effect. It's better than a drug. It is. It feels good to unwind. And it feels good to get off your chest what you feel you need to get off your chest.
He's probably having a cigarette right now.
Shad Khan is a hands-off owner. I mean, he is. He's a hands-off owner. And I don't know if he's a football guy. So maybe it's smart for him to be a hands-off owner. I tell you what's worse is the owner who dabs into everything and doesn't know what's going on. That's worse than what Jacksonville has. And there's been a lot of them, okay, in a lot of different sports where the owner gets involved and, you know, he tells the general manager this and he tells the coach that. And no, I think you need a medium a little bit. That's why I began this show tonight by hypothetically saying what Shad Khan could have done. He could have become, it could have been a 180 for him. But he missed the opportunity. And I don't know why he missed the opportunity. To me, it all goes back to Trent Baalke. He's not doing the job. He has failed. He just kept on. He saved that money. You could have signed these guys to 1 year. You could have brought in a pass rusher for 1 year. You could have brought in more. All right, he brought in Ezra Cleveland. Ezra Cleveland ended up, let me find it right here for you. Ezra Cleveland ended up being, for the year, the second lowest offensive performer on the Jaguars roster at 46%, or 46, according to PFF. You know what number one was? Of course you do. Luke Fortner, 44.2. The offensive line's terrible. I've been screaming about that for years. I've already seen the mocks. Oh, go get Keon Coleman. Oh, get the kid last night who played wide receiver at Washington. Oh, go get a pass rush. I'm like, no! No! Offensive line, defensive line. Guards, defensive tackles. You're soft in the ditch. You get blown up on offense. You get blown up on defense. Forget about wide receivers and ends. Offensive line, defensive line. Fix your weakness. There's many of you out there who believe that Anton Harrison wouldn't even have been selected if Cam didn't get popped for 4 games. Now, again, I said all along they had to go offensive line. But, okay, yeah, of course, Ballou, but they went offensive line because Cam got popped. I mean, you got plenty of skill position guys. You had a 1,000-yard back. You would have had 2 1,000-yard wide receivers if Kirk had stayed healthy. Evan Ingram caught 14 balls. Zay was hurt all year. I think you saw a tiny bit of something late out of Parker Washington, a 5th or 6th round pick, whatever he was. You've got the skill guys. Fix your line. Amazes me. Harry is next. He goes into the night.
Yeah. Hey, Rick. Listen, I agree with what you came on the show with. I feel bad. I haven't felt this bad all through the years, and we've had some bad losses. Anyways, what concerns me the most, Rick, is how are we going to get any better? We've got to get better at the draft. If the draft fails this next year, because we got all these problems with money, how are we going to get any better if we fail again at the draft? And because we don't have much cap, so I'm hoping that Baalke took some notes on some of these Michigan, their front line. They got some maulers, and that's what we need here. I don't know, picking 17th if we can get one of them, but the draft is the biggest thing. We can't keep losing on the draft, or we ain't going to go nowhere.
And you know, you're spot on with that. This year's draft was horrifying. It was. And can you imagine how bad it would be if you didn't get the late additions of 5th rounder Antonio Johnson and 6th rounder Parker Washington? Those are 2 encouraging things. Now, I think Washington is going to be your backup slot to Kirk. He's going to be your punt returner. They're not going to bring back Agnew. I don't think you can pay him with everything else that this team has to do. And again, he's aging, and he's also injury prone. Antonio Johnson, that early injury really had a setback for him. He's a physical player. Okay? I hope that they're going to allow him to trust his football instincts. It'll be a big hire here as far as the defensive coordinator. I would love for them to get Wink Martindale. Wink Martindale has been around successful programs, running that defense forever in Baltimore. Okay, he got in it with Brian Daboll this year in New York, New Jersey, and it's kind of a blitzing 3-4 attack. If you look at Thibodeau and Ojulari, the way that they're used almost as an outside linebacker that will come up at the line of scrimmage, it's a blitz-heavy package that Wink Martindale likes to run. There's a large part of me that believes that this defense could be better with a 4-3 structure. I don't know if that could be wishful thinking. But Now, the Giants can block a move with Wink. They can do that because he resigned. He's still technically under contract. It would make absolutely zero sense for the New York Giants to block a move over here to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're talking about NFC East, AFC South. So I think if you pursue him, you get him. But you're right. I mean, I was going to do this. I was going to have a show on it, and maybe I will anyway at some point. But I give Anton Harrison an A. He was thrown into the fire. They did a bad coaching job with him, especially against Chris Jones at Kansas City early, not providing help as far as Chip. He had a rusher every week. I think he's going to get better. I give Anton Harrison an A. Brenton Strange, D. He was hurt. Tank Bigsby, D. Although I thought the last 2 games was encouraging. I'm not giving up on Tank Bigsby. There's no way Trent Baalke is. There's no way his ego is. He invested a 3rd-round pick in him. Okay? And don't be surprised if the way that Baalke's thinking right now is this could be it for Travis Etienne. They're going to pick up his 5th-year option. Backs aren't coveted in this league. I mean, as crazy as it may sound, by the 2025 season, Tank Bigsby could be your starting running back. And I know a lot of you are going to drive off the road right now. You're like, what the hell did Ballou say? Ventrell Miller, redshirt season, lost. Tyler Lacey, a guy, gave him some snaps. Yasir Abdullah, man, they gave this guy 10 chances, and they put him on the bench. He was a scratch every week. What a waste. I mean, he's an undersized pass rush end. They waited into their 5th round. Remember all the free agents? Remember the Clownies and all the guys who were available? Floyd. He did nothing. Jacksonville had 40 sacks. And they came from, you had 10 for Trayvon and 17 and a half. That can't be right. Did they really have 40? Boy, I'm trying to think where the other 12 and a half would actually come from. So, yeah, it's a terrible draft class. Last year's draft class. Trayvon Walker getting better. Number 1 pick? No. But you got to be happy there. He's getting better. Devin Lloyd, better, but lost. There are times you're like, what is he doing? Look at that angle. Look at him in coverage. I mean, you're talking about you want to go to a 4-3 and have him. I don't know.
40 sacks. You're right.
It was. Who else had him?
A lot of guys with just a few. So Roy Robertson Harris had 3.5. Foye had 2.5. Chason had 2. Smoot,
sign him. Bring him back.
Smoot, Antonio Johnson, Rayshawn, and Gotsis all had 1.
Okay. So it was 40?
It was. And I don't know if you saw the I believe it was Clay Harbor. Yeah, here it is. Clay Harbor showed the replays of a lot of these Henry runs from Sunday, and he was showing Devin Lloyd just taking wrong angles, missing tackles, getting destroyed by linemen, completely lost.
The tape doesn't lie.
Right.
And I still think he's a good football player. He's an improved football player. But that was absolutely awful. And I think to make matters worse, I got to take a break here, and I'm going to get to these calls. I think he was the highest rated Pro Football Focus player.
In that game on Sunday.
Let me see if I can find that right here for you real quick. I mean, Pro Football Focus is I don't know how to define Pro Football Focus.
When I agree with them, though, I'm like, yeah, I knew I was right. But then sometimes you're like, what?
I think it's like my GF when she picks us all up because she don't drink and we're all drunk and she's sober. And, it's probably the wrong analogy, but it's like you watch the game and you think you have some idea as to what you're seeing and what you just saw until you go to Pro Football Focus. And Pro Football Focus and Trent Baalke are the same thing. It's, hey, we're the smartest guy in the room. You don't know what you're talking about. Devin Lloyd, let's see here. Devin Lloyd was the highest-ranked player. He was the highest-ranked player total, offense or defense. He got an 80.1 grade. You know what Aluakon's grade was?
He was rough.
27.8. I mean, these are Lawrence Taylor numbers for Devin Lloyd. 2022 draft, Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, Luke Fortner, complete failure. Chad Muma, complete failure. Snoop Connor, complete failure. Gregory Jr., Buster Brown. Okay. We'll see what happens with the latter two. Now if Buster actually came on and played pretty well. So next year will be year 3 for him. But, that's a reach. I'm going to 7th-round picks here, 6th-round picks here in the last couple of drafts and saying that they're helping out a little bit. You're not getting performance out of your top picks, and that goes solely on your general manager. All right, when we come back, much more of these. Let's see. Quite a few folks on. If anyone hangs up, a line opens up for you. Okay, 641-1010 if you'd like to get into the conversation.
The All-Pro Roofing phone line protects you from boring radio.
Hello? What are you doing here?
I don't know. Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
The calls have been pouring in.
On 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
Hicken here. The Borland Groover Foundation proudly presents the annual March to Get Screened 5K race and 1 mile fun run. Sunday, April 14th. The race starts at 7 a.m. under the Fuller Warren Bridge. Their mission, raise awareness about colorectal cancer and related deaths. All proceeds benefit the Borland Groover Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
It's a rock and roll salute to the greatest piano icons in history, the greatest piano men. This electrifying production celebrates the world's greatest pianists and showmen, including Elton John, Billy Joel, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard, all the way to Beethoven and Liberace. Friday, January 12th at Thrasher Horn Center in Orange Park. Get tickets now.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 9th, 2000, Miami Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino wins his last career NFL game in a 2017 win over Seattle.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today. Mr. Rooter, Mr. Rooter.
At ABBQ, they are turning up the heat this football season like no other. Picture this, 15 massive TVs strategically placed throughout the restaurant so you won't miss a single touchdown. Step into their huge outdoor area where the excitement of the game meets the fresh air. Here's the kicker, and this is a big one for me. They got the sound on blast throughout the restaurant for the whole game. Your destination for mouth-watering barbecue and an unforgettable game day. ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
Hicken here as we bid farewell to the old and welcome the new. Let's make it a year of clear vision and bright smiles. You see, Bowden Eye & Associates understands the importance of healthy eyes and clear sight. They're here to help you see the world in all its vibrant glory. Picture this, a year filled with laughter, adventure, and crystal clear vision. Routine eye exams or advanced vision correction procedures, they got you covered. Call or visit them online today to schedule your personal consultation. Ballou Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality H2O in your home, call your local water boy, Keith, at Kenai Water Jacksonville. That's Kenai Water Jacksonville.
When looking for a firearm, you want knowledge of product, a fair price, and of course, a quick process. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach is always stocked with brand new firearms and the quickest in and out times this side of the ditch. BeachesJewelryandPawn.com.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly.
I would recommend QC to anybody. QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, with answers to the questions I'm asked the most. Yes, we are local, and no, I'm not hiring an actor to read these commercials. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Happy birthday, Jimmy Page! Unlike the Jaguars, music will never let you down. And 80 years of age. Arguably the greatest guitarist of all time. Arguably the greatest rock and roll band of all time. Jimmy Page is 80. All right, tell you what we're going to do right now. A lot less of me, a lot more of you. Let's hear from you. 641-1010. Let's start it with Keith. How you doing, Keith?
Hey, Ballou.
Hey.
Spot on your opening monologue. Let me say this: every caller had a pulse on what the problem was in this organization. But I want to give you my number one problem, and that's Mr. Turnover himself, Trevor Lawrence. In the third year, he has regressed. And the thing about it is that if we do not find out what's going on, 3 more years, we'll be hitting the reset button again. And I want to get your thoughts, on that. He leads the league in turnovers for the second year in a row, and this is supposed to be the generational talent. I'm questioning that, and I want to know your thoughts.
Appreciate that call, and I'm glad you mentioned that because all the focus tonight has been on Trent Baalke and, the firings that Doug Peterson has made here over the last 2 days. A lot of what you said is correct, and the best part of Doug Peterson's press conference yesterday, the best part was that he put some of this on Trevor. And that has to happen, okay? He's 3 years in the league. He's 24 years of age. He made major mistakes this year. And he turns the football over. He also tries to make plays. I went kind of nuts on this a night ago, talking about just how poorly Trevor Lawrence is in game situations. His decision-making has been really poor. And, you can bring up things like hitting Parker Washington before halftime. He's a rookie. You shouldn't have thrown it to a rookie who couldn't get out of bounds or, taking that hit at Tampa when you're down 36 and the game's out of reach. Knocked him out of the next week's game against Carolina, and who knows how injured he really was 2 days ago in Tennessee. I'm with you. And my opinions changed where all along I was like, here it is, January 9th? Get this guy signed in March. You're going to save money on the back end, rip up year 4, give him a long-term contract extension. Right now, I'm like, no way. You make him play year 4 of that rookie contract for $11,700,000. You absolutely pick up the 5th-year option, but he's got to earn it now. Now, all of a sudden, I think the percentages have moved up a little bit that he's not going to be the quarterback, the franchise quarterback here, perhaps as early as 2026, 2027. I would still bet that he's going to be, but he's got to show a lot of improvement. 58 giveaways in the last 3 years, most in the NFL. Third most interceptions with 37. Second most fumbles with 33. Most lost fumbles, 21. That has to change. Good call there. Appreciate it. James is next. He goes into the night.
Yeah, it's James. How are you, Rick?
Hi, James.
All right, man. Listen to this. I got a thought. The whole clown movement, remember?
Yeah.
It started with an emoji, and it had a mustache. So the clown movement was initially against Shad Khan. But Trent Baalke then took the heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
He came out on that last game against Indianapolis and stood out on the porches out there, and Shad Khan didn't show up, and we won that game with the substitute after Urban Miller was fired.
Okay.
And we won that game. You're right. So I believe that, the clown movement kind of backfired because Trent Baalke took all the heat off of Shad Khan. No more mustache. And he had the little clown doll, remember, on his desk?
Yeah.
He didn't know it was Bozo. But he didn't know that. He said it's a clown figurine. But he took the heat off of Shad Khan. So, God bless all of us. We're all in shock, okay? I love the Jags. I love them, man. I love them. I was playing first trombone in the old Dallas Cowboys band when Roger Staubach was quarterback.
Yeah.
So I love football, So I'm passionate. So I love this, But I feel like that the clown movement backfired, and now Trent Baalke is invincible from being fired because he took the heat from Shad Khan.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of thinking about it. There's something going on there that I'm unaware of. He obviously has the utmost respect and trust in Trent Baalke. And what I think we're seeing here for the the older audience out there, my age or around my age, you're aware of this. For you younger folks, you're headed towards this. But the point I'm trying to make here is that you're going to find out in life, in your professional life, that people that you are better than get the better job. They get the better opportunity. And a lot of that is nepotism. A lot of that is having friends in the business and being able to give you a contact or a lead that you couldn't get on your own. There's also in life the ability, as bad as you are at your job, the ability to sell yourself to the one decision maker. And that's all you have to do. And 32 years in this business, I have seen people in a lot of different areas who are not nearly as good as others advance because they know how to sell themselves. It's an unbelievable trait. And you're not going to learn that in school. You're not going to learn that in high school. You're not going to learn that in college. I don't know if you learn it on the streets. I don't know if you learn it or how you learn it. But there's only a few out there who actually have that. The ability to take on an entire fan base, the ability to take on an entire city, the ability to look at the one guy who makes the decision and convince him they're all wrong. I'm right. And that's what Trent Baalke's been able to do. Brother, that is impressive. I mean, that is fantastic. And that's where we're at. Hour number 2 on the other side. Let's see. Let's begin with Max and James. James, this hung up. I'm trying to get to as many of you as I can, But crying out loud, send me a clown emoji if you want. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also get us. We're grabbing calls in our second hour. 641-1010.
Your home for Florida Gators basketball is 1010XL.
The Gators duel in the Delta. Florida Ole Miss. Tomorrow night at 9 on 1010 a.m.
A new vehicle come to Key Buick GMC where we never have markups on our vehicles. In addition, Key Buick GMC is the only Buick GMC dealer with a lifetime powertrain warranty on all new Buicks and GMCs. It's a new year. Time to do some service checkups. Key has oil changes specials on most vehicles plus a tire match guarantee. Please check out our service specials at our website. Go to KeyBuickGMC.com. We're always professional grade on the corner of Southside and Gate. Key Buick. GMC.com.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. Mad Dad's is asking for good, committed men who want to be part of an organization that has been around for 17 years. We are a group that is part of the solution, not the problem. We are a group that don't stand around murmuring and complaining, but get into action and hit the streets to get the community to break the code of silence to remove the murderers off our streets. We do not require a lot of time, just willing and able bodies to get involved. We've had far too many murders this year already not to get involved. If you want to be part of this great organization, call 904-718-1649. We're looking for men, not men acting like boys. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. For information about Mad Dad, go to Mad Dad's Jacksonville Chapter Facebook or MadDad'sJacksonville.com.
Jeff Prosser here. Need that garage floor redone? Pool deck? Patio? Well, I did my homework and found out there is only one company offering a lifetime warranty, Jack's Concrete Coating. How do they do it? They're the certified Pintech dealer for North Florida, so they are the only company offering pure polyurea. Trust me, I can speak firsthand to their work, and it is awesome. Go to jacksconcretecoatings.com or call 904-862-2000.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll-and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein and Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Hey, Scarline here. Tired of missing out on the conversation due to hearing loss? At Jacksonville Hearing and Balance, their team of audiologists led by Dr. Douglas Green can help you rediscover the joy of connection. Visit jhbi.org today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Jaguar season is over. We try to get through that, and while we do, we celebrate the 80th birthday of Jimmy Page, guitarist of Led Zeppelin. Your phone calls in 30 seconds, 641-1010. The 5200 said, great opening monologue. I am now completely depressed. That's not my goal. Believe it or not, I'm trying to pick you up. I feel like between yesterday's show and tonight's show, I feel like I've gotten it out of me. I'm not going to roll that way. This show will always be about how to get better. Next up, defensive coordinator. Next up, solidify your staff. And then you have decisions to make with your own. Who are you bringing back? Who are you not re-signing? 24 free agents. You then need to figure out what you're going to do in free agency, and that'll also include restructuring some current contracts. And then we're, 106 days away from the NFL draft. I mean, blink twice and it'll be gone. So I'm not gonna be that way during the off season. My approach is going to be, how do you make this team better? It always has been, even when you had the top pick in the draft. But just let me say this to you, and I firmly believe it. Outside of the fact that Trent Baalke has the complete trust and respect in Shad Khan, I think the other missing link of this equation and why he is still the general manager is that it was out of the ordinary to begin with, right? Baalke was hired by Caldwell. Caldwell was fired. He was promoted. And again, it took forever to decide on Doug Peterson. If you were to fire Trent Baalke, doesn't that make Doug Peterson a lame duck? The next GM who comes in would want his own guy. Is going to want to build the team the way that he wants to build the team. So the fact that that has not happened, I am totally convinced that if the Jaguars go 9-8 next year, they're both gone. If the Jaguars don't make the playoffs next year, they're both gone. Now, if they have a successful run, win the AFC South, get in the playoffs, then you can make the case that they both stick around. Okay? But I think that is a way for you to look at this. And I know in some ways it's unfair for me to even say that because the season ended 48 hours ago. But that's the way I'm looking at this, because it doesn't make any sense that he's still the general manager. I believe that that's a big part of this. And I think you'll see the next time around, and it could be in 1 year, if they don't meet expectations, that they all go. And then you completely start all over again. You bring in a general manager and a head coach at the same time. That make any sense? Let's go to Jason. He is next. He goes into the night. Welcome.
Well, working on what you just said, if that's the case, and they're gone next year, they ain't making the playoffs. They're not going 9-8. I'd be surprised if they win 7. However, Harry, a few calls back, was saying, oh, well, how are we going to get better through the draft? We're not. And this is just my opinion. Yes, Baalke is part of it. And I know, since I'm not in that building and I don't see the decision-making process, I cannot prove it definitively. But I have a very strong suspicion that Junior, a.k.a. Tony Khan, is being allowed to do some draft picks or influencing of at least picks 4 through 7. And I think they need to keep that kid away from all football decision-making. Also, on the morning side, I'm tired of hearing the sunshine pumper pump up this offensive line year after year. Tony, you were great.
All right,
but
I'm going to draw the line there. I'm not going to let you talk about my colleagues on here. That's just the way I do things. You can reach out to them. I don't agree with that. Tony Khan heads up the analytic department. Okay, I don't think that there's a feeling anywhere that the Khans are football.
He's openly admitted that he makes a lot of choices when it comes to undrafted free agents.
Right. I agree with that. I agree he and his staff.
But I've never heard any draft stuff.
Do that. Scouting is such a huge part of ladder draft picks. It just is. And that's where you honestly trust your board. When we talk about trusting the board and need pick and value pick, we get so wrapped up in the first round. But that really comes into play once you get to Saturday. Once you get into the 4th, 5th round, 6th round, where do you rank guys? So I think it's a combination, but I don't believe that if Trent Baalke and this team believe, or even when it was Dave Caldwell and this team, that if they believe they have a guy that they want in the 4th or 5th round, and Tony Khan runs up to him and says,
no, I got a guy.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that's just
I agree with you.
The way it goes. If so, then everything I said earlier about Shad Khan not being hands-on, that becomes the exact opposite, because you can look at guys like Tepper in Carolina and Mark Davis in Las Vegas. Jerry. Yeah, but I want to say Jerry knows football.
I hope after all these years.
You know what I mean?
Of being the GM.
Yeah, I want to say Mark Davis's dad, Al Davis, knew football. This is not a perfect science. This is hard. This is so hard to try to draft the right guys, but I would rather have a Shad Khan who's basically absent than have an owner who's involved in everything that you do. You can't work that way. Can you work at your job if you have your boss or the owner of the company over your shoulder every single move that you're trying to? No, you've got to have freedom to be able to do your job the way that you want to do your job. So I think he's involved with his analytics team. I think it's a big part of it. But I don't agree that he has the say on things like that. Let's go to Max. He's next up.
Hey, man, that call with Leah earlier, that was kind of crazy. I was driving home from work, and he just blew up. Kind of made my night. It was kind of funny. But I just want to know what your thoughts are on the whole Press Taylor situation. I know all these people are talking about how they think he needs to be fired from the staff, and I just want to know your thoughts on that and what do you think the real problem we have to deal with all of this offseason is to get better for the playoffs next year?
I think Press Taylor, I would have moved on from him just because the offense did regress this year. But there are a lot of things that need to be considered. For starters, this football team a year ago was absolutely, totally healthy. Okay? I mean, you lost Cam Robinson. That's it. Off your defense, you lost Shaq Griffin early. You lost I'm trying to think if you lost someone else. But it was such a healthy year. The Jaguars this year, that left side of the line beaten up. Zay Jones out. Christian Kirk out. ETN, a chest injury. Trevor Lawrence, 5 injuries. And as soon as I start talking about injuries, half of you are like, an excuse. And I get it. You got to learn to play through injuries. I would have fired Press Taylor, but I'm also one of those who believes they didn't do enough to help this football team. They returned 20 of 22 starters. The only starters you replaced were Anton Harrison for Juwan Taylor and Calvin Ridley for Marvin Jones Jr. That's it. Everyone else returned. They sat on it and figured we were so close a year ago, it's going to happen again this year. And, it kind of looked that way early on at 8-3. The problem was the offensive line. This team couldn't run. This team was terrible in red zone. This team was terrible at goal line. This team took a step back on third down conversion rate. This team took a step back on sacks allowed, a career high, 35 for Trevor Lawrence. This team could not pass protect and could not run block. So, yeah, Press Taylor made some glaring omissions, some major mistakes. But I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's a combination of Trevor Lawrence not performing as well, the offensive line being just awful, and I think it all came into it. I would have replaced him. Again, just to understand the philosophy involved here with Doug Peterson. Incredibly loyal. It was his downfall in Philadelphia. Loyal to a fault. Remember, he wanted to promote Press Taylor as the offensive coordinator now, 6 years ago? Or no, it wouldn't have been that long ago. It would have been 3 years ago, 4 years ago, as the offense coordinator in Philadelphia. And they didn't want that to happen. And that was one of the reasons why he left. Doug Peterson is huge on continuity with his staff. And he made that point last year after the loss in London to Denver, right? Again at goal line. Jacksonville couldn't score. And that's when he came out and talked about the consistency with Mahomes and Herbert and Allen and Burrow. And he lost a guy in Jim Bob Cooter, but he kept Mike McCoy, he kept Press Taylor and himself, and he is a believer that this football team is better in the long run by having the same staff and the same people around your QB. Whether that's right or wrong, that is the way he thinks of it. Remember, Trevor went through this transition where he changed offensive coordinators from his sophomore to junior season at Clemson. And then, the whole Urban Meyer mess. And then not settling, but then Doug coming in with Press Taylor. So, yes, I would have made that particular move. They elected not to. Let's go to Hansel, who was next up. Welcome.
Hey, Rick. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, Rick, JJ. Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
I'm a fellow Jags Knowles fan, so I've been knee-deep in Tullamore Dew for the past 48 hours.
Hey, man, it's a great tool.
Yeah. I just wanted to piggyback off of kind of your comments earlier. I've never seen Trevor deserves a lot of the blame for his performances, but I thought, especially in the Titans game, there were a few throws there that the inaccuracy, I feel like the shoulder injury might have had a little more impact than people talk about. I've never seen him overthrow people like that. He's had plenty of turnover issues and stuff, but I feel like the shoulder might have had a little impact on some of those out route throws that he threw 10 feet over people.
I think that's fair, and that's part of the whole problem. Number one, he shouldn't have been out there against Tampa. Number two, when he was out there, this man's brain, the way he's wired, he's trying to make plays, even though they're down 30-6. They have no chance of winning, and that's when he got hurt. To me, that's a problem. And that's an organizational problem, and that's a problem with it. The guy's trying to make a play. How can you blame him? Well, he shouldn't be out there. It's 36. They had no chance of winning that game. And you're right. It could have affected his throwing 2 days ago. And I don't know how you
he has thrown usually it's early in the game. Usually he'll overthrow a couple down the middle, the field, overthrow a receiver. But this was, you'd rarely see it on those out routes on the sideline, and you rarely see it late into the game. Usually it's he's hyped up for this game. He's overthrowing a couple balls, and then he kind of gets in the zone. But, this was obvious that he wasn't 100%.
Well, he threads the needle on the long TD pass to Ridley, something we were waiting on all year, something that Jaguar fans were waiting on all year. And then he misses them.
In the fourth quarter.
By literally inches. I mean, it hits the hands of Ridley, which really begs the question, if he's a true franchise quarterback, is that pass completed? If Ridley is a true 1A wide receiver, does he make that reception? I don't know the answer to that question, but I think it's a fair one to ask. It's just like last year at this time, we were saying, well, how does Christian Kirk drop that ball with the game on the line? How does Jamal Agnew fumble that ball with the game on the line? I mean, that's what you can look at. How did they miss First of all, how did Ridley get so wide open?
Because the Titans suck.
That's it. Mike Vrabel fired today too. I was really surprised by that. But this year, you're now going to the three things that are going to come to your mind when you think about this team: goal line and a quarterback
short
sneak.
yardage in general.
Right, a quarterback sneak where your offensive line gets blown off the ball, but when you watch it, it's like, did they even know that it was a quarterback sneak? When you have your center and your right guard pulling, and the play is supposed to be a handoff to Tank Bigsby to that general area, and your quarterback is sneaking, that is a major malfunction. I mean, that just absolutely. So, again, that's decision-making by Trevor Lawrence. And then you go to 3rd and 2 and 4th and 2 on their last possession. That was their second to last possession. You go back and you watch those plays. He tries to thread the needle to Tim Jones when he's got Evan Ingram wide open. Again, I haven't gone to the all-22 yet. And then on 4th down, he tries to force it into Evan Ingram where apparently other options are open. So that's bad decision-making by your franchise quarterback. He's not immune to criticism here. Yeah, I'm not going to go down the road here and say it's not going to work, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. I'm not there yet, okay? And I'm not going to get there at any point during this. I'm not going to wake up one morning, roll out of the wrong side of the rack, and be like, that's it. Trevor's not the guy.
The quarterback this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to go down that road, okay? But I am a little bit more alarmed. I'm a little bit more concerned right now than I was going into the year. It was a setback year, no matter which way you look at it, for him. And the one thing that Trent Baalke did do, he provided a lot of weapons for Trevor Lawrence. So that's a big part of it. All right, 641-1010. If you would like to get on in for the first time tonight, we have no callers online. We've had a ton early on in the program. Boy, the text line is going absolutely crazy. I want to get to you as well. Same number, 641-1010, and that is brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Get fishing tips and stories from Captain Kevin.
Bite's going to pick up pretty soon.
On the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Whoa!
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Hey there, Jacksonville. This is Jeff Norman.
And I'm Mike Jones.
And we're the owners of Duck Duck Rooter and want to wish you a Happy New Year.
As we dive into 2024, remember that Duck Duck Rooter is here for all your plumbing, AC, and septic needs.
No matter the size of the project or issue, we've got your back.
So, for a worry-free year, trust our team experts at Duck Duck Rooter.
Call us today at 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Happy New Year, Jacksonville. We are here for you.
Chronic pain can be very bossy. What do I mean? It tells you what you can or can't do. Sometimes it even has the audacity to keep you from working.
I missed almost 3 weeks of work, and I was no longer able to play tennis. The pain was really debilitating sometimes. I missed Thanksgivings.
Abby was ready to put the bossy bad back in her past. And that's when she discovered QC Kinetics and their non-surgical treatments for pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine with tens of thousands of satisfied patients, people who have experienced real lasting relief without drugs and without surgery.
It has just been the most life-changing, amazing experience. Not only life-changing, but career-saving. I get to continue to do the career that I love. I'm playing tennis again.
Stop letting that joint pain boss you around. Start with a free consultation at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Looking for the perfect Saturday plans? Head over to Players Grill, where Saturdays are all about pizza and pints. Dive into a delicious pizza paired with your choice of Miller Lite or Yuengling draft beer for just $12.99. Pizza, pints, and a great time. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
1010XL celebrates athletic and academic greatness.
Listen for the high school scholar athlete Wednesdays on the Frangie Show.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality H2O in your home, call your local water boy, Keith, at Kenai Water Jacksonville. That's Kenai Water Jacksonville.
All Elite Wrestling is coming home. Here to shadow the home of the Jaguars. On Wednesday, January 10th. The energy in this building is amazing. Don't miss this elite homecoming celebration when AEW returns to Daly's Place. Listen to the ovation. We will be there live when all your favorite AEW Dynamite and Rampage stars kick off 2024 with a bang. Don't miss Chris Jericho. I'm one of the greatest to ever do this. The Young Bucks, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, Chris Statlander, Eddie Kingston, Tony Storm. Sheeta, Swerve, Hook, the rated R superstar Adam Copeland, Saraya, Darby Allin, The Acclaim. Everyone loves me! And be there live to pay tribute to the icon Sting. Don't miss AEW's homecoming celebration at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com. Card subject to change.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, a lot of good stuff coming in tonight from you, the listener, as always. We do appreciate it. Tomorrow night, 6 to 8. Thursday and Friday night, 6 to 8 as well. What did I do with this? I wanted to get to it. Okay, 0903 says, Ballou, seriously, in what order would you pick offensive and defensive line? Which is the priority? They're both priorities, okay? This is the focus. This has to be the focus. Now, you're set at tackle for next year, whether it's going to be Little and Harrison or Cam Robinson and Harrison. Your tackles are set. And I'm not saying avoid drafting a tackle because Robinson could be gone. This could also be the final year of Walker Little's contract. It's year 4. But you have to – and I also – am very interested in this part of it. Trent Baalke's escaped the firing. He has to believe that he's got to win this year. Therefore, I don't think he's going to take up this money by extending Trevor Lawrence. Play Trevor Lawrence at $11.7 million. He's going to restructure some more contracts and maybe leave some dead money in the future for the next general manager, or even if it's him to get out of it in a couple of years. But I think he's going to build this year's team to win this year. He has to know that he has failed miserably on that offensive and defensive line. So he is going to have to get some things done in free agency. That comes first. Can you find a guard? Does he believe that Cooper Hodges, who had basically a redshirt season, he was injured, much like Ventrell Miller. I mean, that's a gamble. You're going to put all this on a 7th-round draft pick who didn't play a year ago? That's a gamble, okay? But typically guards are not the 17th pick in the draft, unless you're really special, right? I mean, tackles go that high, but not usually a guard. Now, the kid who played last night out of Washington is getting a lot of reviews. I do need plenty of time here to look at everything and, their pro days and the combine and those who are playing in the, Senior Bowl and everything else that goes along with it. The good thing about the Jaguars being relevant is in years past, I was already knee-deep into a lot of draft stuff. I haven't been so far this year. Sure, I've read the mock drafts. You've read the mock drafts. But I don't know right now if I can say to you, yeah, this is a center who's equal to the 17th pick in the draft. There's a left or right guard that's equal to the 17th pick. I don't know that. Typically, those positions don't hit there. A defensive tackle, totally different. Yes, a defensive tackle will go in the top. There's no doubt. So by typical draft value, the priority would probably be defensive line because of the position. But we need more time, and we have it. We have 106 days.
Yeah, you haven't done any studying on Taliese Fuaga, the offensive tackle from Oregon State, who's our friend Ryan Wilson from CBS Sports today had his mock out, and that's where the Jags are going.
Good. I love that.
334.66 offensive tackle.
I tell you what, JJ, I like that better than, getting a wide receiver.
I couldn't agree more.
And I understand the way that fans are. Wide receivers.
It's flashy.
Yes.
And you know them.
Right.
Like Keon Coleman, we all watched, for a couple seasons. We know who he is. Some random tackle from Oregon State. We're not going to have too much of an opinion on that guy.
And, if you do listen, okay, if you listen to what we've done around here for forever. Man, I've been hollering about this for years. This isn't like, I'm going to show up this year and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hammer the offensive line and talk about the offensive line. No, not at all. I mean, that is something that I've always done. All right, I'm looking for this other one that was good and I put down here. I can't find it. God, you guys sent me so much stuff here. Everything gets all jammed up. All right, here we go. Here's one. Here's a good one. 36-18. Ballou, in all fairness, Wrigley has to get dirty on that play.
Right?
Has to lay out for the ball.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a beautifully thrown ball, especially with the quarterback is dealing with a sore shoulder. All he thought about was catching it straight after getting the touchdown instead of catching it on the dive and getting the yardage. There's a lot of truth to that. There is. I mean, why wouldn't you lay out? My assumption is that I think he felt he could catch it anyway, and he didn't. I'm torn here on Wrigley. I am. And frankly, I'm glad I don't have to make this decision. This is one of the more tougher ones that this team is going to have to make. This guy just turned 29. There was some disconnect at times. I think you can find receivers. He's not the number one wide receiver. Christian Kirk is the number one wide receiver. Christian Kirk is a better wide receiver than Calvin Wrigley. Christian Kirk is a more reliable wide receiver, even though he got injured, than Calvin Wrigley. And this pains me to say. I mean, I gushed about this guy in August. Again, I've never seen anything like it at the Miller Electric Center. I haven't seen anything like it since Justin Blackman was here. Going back to the days of Jimmy Smith. Look at the ratio this year. Calvin Ridley, 76 for 136. That's terrible. I understand numbers. I understand what people are going to go. Calvin Ridley, they can say he caught 76 balls for 1,016 yards and had 8 touchdowns. Okay. He was 76 for 136. I'll let you do the math and figure out the percentage. As opposed to Christian Kirk, 57 for 85. That's actually down a little bit from a year ago. I mean, Trevor just missed his wide receivers this year. His underneath stuff was really good. Evan Ingram, 114 for 143, right?
55% from Ridley, by the way.
55%. Yeah. And the guy's averaging 13.4 yards. We're not talking about 17 or 18 yards a reception. We're talking about 13.4. I know the Jaguars had 25 drops. Travis Etienne, 58 to 73. So his drop down stuff was really good with Ingram and Etienne. But Kirk dipped a little bit, and Calvin Ridley was real. I mean, if I was to say to you in August that the completion ratio from Trevor Lawrence to Calvin Ridley is going to be 55%, are you going to pay this guy top 10 wide receiver money? Are you going to pay this guy top 5 wide receiver money? I read it earlier today. The top 5 wide receivers were available. What is it? It's like Higgins. It's Hollywood Brown. It's the kid down the road. 10 straight years of 1,000 yards receiving.
Evans?
Yes. No, I'm not going to touch a wide receiver. Zay's gone. Zay costs too much money. Jamal Agnew's gone. So that leaves you with Christian Kirk, and that leaves you with Parker Washington. And here's something else that is alarming. The guys that they tried to plug in didn't work the way you wanted it to. When you look at, let's see here, Tim Jones, 11 of 18. Okay, that's all right. I thought it would be a little bit
He only had 11 catches this year?
He did. Elijah Cooks, 3 of 4. We saw that one dramatic drop that he did have. But that's what you're looking at right now. You're looking at Christian Kirk coming off an injury, Parker Washington, who was injured this year, and then guys who are unproven. Guys that are, let's be honest here, they're guys. They're 5th and 6th wide receivers. Tim Jones, Elijah Cooks. That's what you have. They don't bring back Zay. So, yeah, there's a glaring need for another top-notch wide receiver. And that's why there's going to be so many people in the draft that are going to say the Jaguars are going to do that in the first round. We don't know if they're going to have a second or third round pick. That all factors into the Wrigley decision. You let him go, it's a third. You sign him long-term, you give up your second. So you got to figure that part out of it. Do you slap a franchise tag on Calvin Ridley? Just knowing a little bit about this situation? If you put a franchise tag on Calvin Ridley, guess what? He's not there for camp. Everything that Doug Peterson preaches about practice and how many times this year was there miscommunication, and that included with Trevor Lawrence and his wide receivers. So you put a franchise tag on Calvin Ridley and he doesn't show up during the offseason, you just get him ready for week 1? That's a risk. You're going to pay him a 3-year contract? You're going to pay him $60 million or whatever it is? I mean, where's the priority list with Josh Allen? Do you put the franchise tag on him and pay Ridley? I don't know the answer to these questions, but that's why I've said all along, this year's offseason is going to be phenomenal. I feel bad for you people. I do. I feel bad for Jaguar fans, but just like I felt awful for Florida State fans. But sooner or later, you're going to have to snap out of it. Norvell got another recruit today. You got another defensive lineman today. Norvell's doing everything he can to come back and respond. I understand you're pissed. I understand, I'm not going to go to any more games and I'm done. You're not. I've been doing this for 32 years. I know how fans are. You will be back. And I appreciate that you're upset and that you want heads to roll. But you will come back. Being a sports fan is like any legal or illegal drug that's out there. It's more potent. Hardest thing I had to give up was chewing tobacco. Go freaking crazy for years. I get done with this show. There's nothing I love better than throwing in a big old dip and barreling down the road in my key GMC Sierra. I had to give it up. It was hard. You can't give up being a sports fan. You just can't. You're a Florida State fan, you're going to come back. You're a Gators fan, Billy Napier on the hot seat this year. You win, they're back. They lose, they get a new coach, you're back. Same with the Jaguars. How do they get better? What moves are they going to have to make to get better? This year's class has to be about getting stronger on the offensive and defensive line, period. But all the decisions they got to make is going to be just spectacular. It's going to be just insane. Thankfully, I don't understand the salary cap. The best part that Trent Baalke, the best thing that he's been a part of, he puts together good contracts. He and his people, Walshy and the others over there, you can't look at the years and the money. You have to look at the years and the guaranteed money and then the dead cap money beginning in year 3. These contracts are basically structured as 2-year deals. Someone called in earlier and said the Jaguars have way too much dead cap money. They had a lot a year ago. They don't have a lot this year. In a win-now situation, I would expect there to be a lot of dead cap money coming up in 2025 because Trent Baalke knows I got to win in 2024. So that should be comforting for you in the immediate future. What does it do down the road? We'll see. I mean, the salary cap continues to grow. It's going to be $240 this year. Heck, by next year, it could be up to $255 million. But I have to believe that his philosophy on this football team is going to change. He made a mistake thinking they were close, really, really close. So let's keep 20 of the 22 starters. They failed. Now he's got to win. He's got to build this year's team to win in 2024. If not, he's got to be out of a job. They can't do what they did this year, and he's going to be around again in 2020. No. I mean, that just can't happen. It can't. So, let's look long-term here. And it's one after the other after the other. Good luck. I mean, just think about it. Josh Allen, man. Calvin Ridley. Brandon Sheriff. I keep reading these people say they want Brandon Sheriff back at right guard. Cam Robinson. Are you going to put a 5th year on a running back? Are you going to pick up that 5th-year option on Travis Etienne? Obviously, you're going to pick up the 5th-year option on Trevor. Are you going to pick it up on Travis Etienne? What are you going to do with Tyson Campbell? A year ago at this time, we were raving about Tyson Campbell. He had a setback, and he was injured. What are you going to do about Andre Sisco? He's going to be coming up. What are you going to do on Walker Little? He's going to be coming up. What are you going to do on Darius Williams? Are you going to restructure that contract? What are you going to do with Christian Kirk, who has the 2nd highest cap number? Are you going to restructure that contract? What are you going to do with Foye Oluokun, who's got massive salary cap numbers and dead cap money? Are you going to move along from him and trust Chad Muma? Or are you going to restructure that? You can't pay those guys at the rate they're making now. You have to restructure Kirk and Sheriff and Cam and Oluokun if you want to keep them. You have to restructure those deals. So, yeah, this is going to be one of the greatest off seasons this organization's ever had. And as much as I hate to say it, maybe it is a little bit of a blessing that they lost. It wasn't a Super Bowl team. Because if they had gotten in and Cleveland came in here and rolled them this weekend, it would have been defined a successful year. Oh, Jaguars back-to-back AFC Southern champs. Oh, Jaguars back-to-back playoffs. So, yeah, you lose a week and you lose a playoff game. They can't win. Jacksonville can't win at home anyway. This team can't win at home. They're not going to win here against Cleveland. They don't win home games. So maybe it is a blessing in disguise. Maybe you start to fix this thing with the coaching changes. Maybe they'll finally get ahead of it. Maybe they'll go out and hire Wink Martindale. Maybe they'll get that done this week. Why wait? Be proactive. Don't wait for everyone else. Go out and find who you want. Doug Peterson's a smart guy. Find out who you want and get them. Don't wait. Don't wait 5 weeks like Trent Baalke did to get Doug Peterson. Find who you want and get him. Get the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. Get him. Final thoughts on the Intersect.
Your home for Florida Gators basketball is 1010XL.
The Gators duel in the Delta. Florida Ole Miss. Tomorrow night at 9 on 1010 a.m.
Ballou here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
So I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $30,000 a year and right now graduate making over $80,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition and no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted into the program, your only costs are the books and the course fees, around $700 a year.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Grilling up lunch with Leon and the Sausage Dudes. Sausage with a purpose.
Join me, Leon Searcy, for XL Primetime, weekdays for Lunch with Leon.
On 1010XL.
I downblock with all my phone.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From roll and lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Start your new year off healthy. Get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, and kidney. Early detection is key with 5 locations across Northeast Florida. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Youth sports are getting back into full swing, so you know what that means. Custom Yetis so dads can keep their beer or sodas cold. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, today's takeaways, brought to you by Key Buick GMC, where our family dealership has been helping families buy vehicles for over 50 years.
All right, today's takeaways, Mike Vrabel gone in Nashville. Boy, I think that's a mistake. I think that's a win for the AFC South. That's a win for the Jaguars and the other two teams. Mike Vrabel, there are now 6 openings, right? Tennessee, Washington. You've got the Los Angeles Chargers, Carolina, Atlanta, and Las Vegas. Still could have an opening in New England with Bill Belichick. And I think that's it, right?
Maybe Chicago,
possibly
but I doubt
Eberflus.
it. Yeah.
But Mike Vrabel's a really good coach. I've had quite a few people tonight ask me, would I consider bringing him here as a defensive coordinator? Yeah, absolutely. But I think he's going to get a head coaching job. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Fred Taylor tweeted out today, I hear there's an opening for the running back job here in Jacksonville. That's interesting, to say the least. Bernie Parmalee was let go today. Todd Washington let go, the assistant offensive line coach. Always liked Bernie Parmalee. They had to make the moves. Of course, yesterday they said goodbye to the defensive staff outside linebacker coach Bill Shuey. Also, the assistant defensive line coach, Rory Segrest, and their quality control coach, Patrick Riley. So that's, that's 9 to 10 spots that need to be filled. I don't know if there's any other changes coming. I would assume that that's going to be it. But hopefully they get ahead of this and are able to bring in the right people. I was a little bit surprised that Phil Rauscher survived this. He's thought of as one of the up-and-coming, really brilliant coaches. Maybe you just can't work with the talent that you have. But it cost the assistant offensive line coach his job. As a matter of fact, the way it was worded, his option or his contract ran out, and they just didn't offer him another one. But those are the 2 changes that'll be happening offensively. Another running backs coach and another assistant offensive line coach. All right, the good folks at Key. I know it's been rough out there as far as the weather recently, and that'll change, hopefully, as early as tomorrow. A full lot full of vehicles over at Key Buick GMC, right across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate. I love my Key GMC Sierra truck, and my GF, she as well loves her Buick Enclave, which she got from the good folks over at Key. Across the street from Southside, it is on across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit TireOutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
All right, Hacker Nation is here, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on?
Boy, never a dull moment. The Jaguars finally get some good news today. Had nothing to do with them. Mike Vrabel out in Nashville. I was shocked. And then here's what the Tennessee Titans did today, and I'm going to have some people on in Nashville at the end of the week to talk about this. Did you see the owner, Amy Adams Strunk, did a 5-minute interview on the Titans team website, just getting questions lobbed to her, just softballs. And then they put Rand Carthon, the new GM, in front of the Nashville media, who said, well, I didn't have anything to do with Vrabel's dismissal. Well, then why were you having him answer questions about Vrabel's dismissal?
Unbelievable.
I thought they handled that horrifically bad today.
There is a lot of dysfunction in the AFC South.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, during the offseason, thinking about what it was going to be like in Houston, they really defied everything. And I think Indianapolis, Jim Irsay right now, I guess, really dealing with some difficulty health-wise. But they won with Gardner Minshew. And now you look at Tennessee, man, and obviously around here there's quite a few questions. So it's going to be a very intriguing offseason, this entire NFC South. The only thing you know about the AFC South is that you got 4 really young quarterbacks, and Trevor Lawrence is by far the elder statesman.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, in that you look at Rand Carthon, the GM in Tennessee, the former Gator, obviously, the connections he had with San Francisco. One of his main connections is that young offensive coordinator in Houston that's going nuts. Bobby Slowick, I believe is his name.
Been mentioned.
Titan Media is connecting the dots there. You hurt Houston, rather, by taking their offensive coordinator away to go to Tennessee. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I'm happy Vrabel's out of the division. He was a good coach, and I think Tennessee probably made a mistake today, to be honest.
Yeah, let's see here. Before we get to what's coming up tonight, I was reading this right before I went on the air. The odds to be the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans, Mike McDonald, much talked about defense coordinator, Belichick, it's 3-1, 4-1. Then it's Slowick, 5-1 to become the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
Is McDonald the guy in Miami?
Defensive coordinator, formerly in Philadelphia. I believe he is there or...
Because I believe he also has ties to Carthon somewhere along the line. There are 2 guys that were mentioned to me, and they both interacted with Carthon at some point in his career. But, I mean, from a Jaguar point of view, look, you get
He's in Baltimore.
Oh, he's in Baltimore. Okay,
he
he's
replaced
in Baltimore.
Wink Martindale.
Yeah, right. The Miami coordinator is the one that has ties with Carthon. But from a Jaguar point of view, you lose to a team that is this dysfunctional 48 hours later.
Yeah.
Man, it's just that pours a little bit of salt into the wound.
Yeah, Baltimore is well represented here, and Michigan is well represented here as well. Of course, he had been at Michigan, and the other youngster, he's only 40 years of age. The name escapes me, the guy who actually ran the defense last night for Michigan when they won the national title. He's being mentioned as well as a possibility to take over as the new defensive coordinator, one of several candidates that I've seen, not only here but around the NFL as well. And certainly that will happen if, as expected, if Harbaugh does end up leaving and going to the NFL. His name is Jesse Minter, so only 40 years of age. All right, what's coming up?
Yeah, a lot of Jaguars obviously still trying to put the pieces together on what exactly happened. The Josina Anderson tweet earlier today was interesting regarding the Jaguars. We'll certainly get into that. And then
who do you think it was?
I have an idea. I don't know. I don't want to throw out a name.
Okay.
But
I have an idea too, but it's one of those deals where I'm not going to throw a name out there if you don't know.
We'll talk. I have an idea who it was. It can only be one of, I guess, 10 people, right? You got a 10% chance. If people don't know what we're talking about, I assume they do. What was the quote? The solutions are leaving and the problems are staying is what one departing Jaguar coach said about what the Jaguars are doing. So a lot of Jaguar talk. And then college football, hey, it's a new era. Season ended last night. Now, from August 24th to January 20th, this next season, 5 months of college football, including a month of playoff action. So it is a new day in the world of college football. We'll talk to Brent Beard about it tonight.
All right, Hack. Have a lot of fun. That's coming up right now. Hacker After Dark. That'll do it for us. Thank you for everyone tonight. Don't check the text line out. The show is over. If you want to get a hold of me, do it on Twitter. That's Ballou1010XL. The rest of the week, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. That's 6 to 8 tomorrow night, Thursday and Friday as well. Get this rain out of here. Get this cold out of here. Take us back to Florida in the sun. For JJ LaSalva, my name is Rick Ballou. We'll talk tomorrow night at 6 right here in your home of the Jags.
your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports betting